Please note, this session is being recorded.
Okay, so let's start. I've shared my screen. Hope everyone is able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yesterday we were working on these use cases wherein we were looking at the different options under the filter component. Now, another thing what we started discussing blending and join, right? So I was talking about that these are the links, and until unless these links are not enabled, your blending will not properly. So in order to demo this, the blending option, what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and get some features or sorry, some fields from our directly connected data source, which is okay. Right now, if you see in the current scenario, I just removed all the components from this particular sheet. It's completely new sheet. And at this moment, I don't see any sign. Earlier it was orange and one was blue. But right now I don't have anything, which means the sheet doesn't have any kind of primary data source or data source right now. As soon as I'm going to bring one field from either of these data sources, right? For example, let's say if I bring region here, so this became the primary data source. Now I know like both the data sources are connected using blending relationship. So what I can do, basis country, I can drag maybe some of the other fields. For example, let's say if I want to take the profit. Okay. So I'll just drag that here on text. So I'll get the total profit amount for country US. And now you can see there is one orange sign and there is one blue sign. Orange represents the secondary data source and blue represents the primary data source, which means for this sheet, I'm getting one field from primary data source and another field from my secondary data source. Now, as we go further, I'll try to drag one more fields, which is customer name. Okay. So now this time again I have got the field one of the field from the our secondary data source and some of the fields from one field is from the primary. I can go back to primary data source and bring few more fields. Maybe segment. Let me put it on columns. Right? So by doing so, if you have a proper joining mechanism or proper relationship between those both data sources, you can bring fields depending on the relationship. You can bring that data into your sheet and you can show that. Now over here also, if you see, out of these three fields, segment, country region, customer name, my customer name has this blue tick icon, sorry, orange icon, orange sign, which means this is coming from my secondary data source. So this is how you can work on blending. But you might have just seen, as soon as I drag a new field here, it takes little time to kind of load it, and then it shows. My data volume is not that high. I have only 10,000 rows in my data, but still it takes some time. This is just because of it joins first of all during the blending mechanism, and then it returns the result. So that's why it is little slow. If I would have done this join on the data connection level, which means join, it would have been a little faster. We'll just wait for this to load. Okay, it's taking more than expected time. So product name, I think it's going to take on the granular level of products. That's why. Okay, yeah, it's done now. So this is how you can see the data. Now, because these products lie into one particular segment, that's why you see the data here. The data is not under these two segments. Same goes with this type of product. There might be some customers who are kind of going with both the products, but generally I see there is one product at a time. Yeah, I don't see two segments or any customer dealing in two segments at the same time. Okay, fine. So any questions here so far? This is a summarized table what we have created. So any questions so far related to kind of fields getting in from two data sources and creating one data view?
Satya, I said the data connection joins are faster than data blending. Why so?
Data, see, for what happens if you go on this data source level, basically what happens, whatever joins you define onto the data source level layer, right? This creates an internal data model in Tableau. And that data model from this layer onwards, it will continue it will be treated as a single source for all the sheets and dashboards. So that join happens once only. It won't repeat again and again. But in case of data blending, as many times you are going to kind of uh, use a particular field from a secondary data source, it hits that joining connection. Basically the relationship what we define under data tab. Just give me a minute. It is. Okay, I'll just remove this product because it's making it very slow. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about this data tab wherein we have this edit relationship. So what happens for every calculation whenever you fetch a field, it's going to do that join and fetch the record basis that, right? Whereas in join, it is defined only at this level where once the join is set, this result will be treated as one source for the Tableau worksheets and all, right? So that's a one-time join, and here as many time you fetch. So you might have seen like these linking icons, right? You can enable, disable anywhere you want. So these are kind of real-time joins. So it happens as many times you refresh it, as many times you kind of drag a field. That's why it is slow. But this portion, it is one-time activity, and this data will be saved as a one data source for you. That's why it is faster, and blending one is little slower.
Yes, Satya, yeah, got it.
Yeah,
Satya, in case of blending, we see that chain items, I mean those link icons present for every column. Does that depend on the type of data we are having in both the tables, or I mean, can we
exactly.
join any column?
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on the type of data type as well as the name. Because in our case, the names are 100% same, right?
Yeah, that's why we see the links everywhere, I think.
Exactly. That's why we see the links everywhere. But in case your data doesn't have, a kind of same link, no, no. But what will happen? Say, what happens? As many dimensions you have in your data, you will get link against everything. But those relations need to be defined here first of all. Whatever relations you define here, right? Only
Okay.
against those fields you will see that link. If that relation is not defined here, you will not see that link.
So every time we want to use data blending, we need to define the relationship here. First of all.
Exactly, this relationship, yes. So for example, I'll show you. For example, let's say I delete this one, category, right? I'll save it and I come here, let it refresh.
Yeah, against category we don't see that.
Right, against category, the link has gone.
Yeah.
So it's all about this relationship, what you define here.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. As cross table. Okay, now let me just talk about simple. Okay, so far we went ahead and talked about this trend line wherein we were doing a lot of formatting things, height, width, labels. Similarly, the same thing can be done using bars also. So in order to do the bars, what I will do, let me take product category. Three categories are there: furniture, office, supplies, and technology. Then under that we have subcategory, and then we can drag maybe sales. We'll take profit, or we can take quantity as well. Right. So this is a simple cross table by dragging and drop you can create. But now a major question comes whenever we talk about amount or dollar value, because it is profit and sales. We need to show the formatting as dollar sign, right? If it is in dollar currency. So that currency formatting, in order to do that, you can go to any of these fields what you see here, like sum, profit, quantity. You can right click here, go to format, come here. By default it is as number. What you can do is you can select as currency. So now you can see it shows Indian currency right now, English India, but you can select any other currency whichever you want. So I'll go ahead and look for USD, English United States. And this time you can see it has two decimal places and a dollar sign against it. In case you want to remove these decimal points also, maybe you can go to this custom and then you can work on your decimal points. So by doing so, we have just changed the formatting of this particular column in terms of currency. Same thing we can do with sales, but in case of quantity, I think this is going to be the number. So decimal or any currency sign will not be required. Now, generally a question comes, I have profit, I have sales, but what I need is profit percentage. How can we show profit percentage here? Any idea? I don't want to show profit and sales separate columns. I just want to show a profit percentage so everybody would know, like, okay, which category we are doing good.
Profit percentage. You go to profit table calculation.
Yeah.
Percentage of total.
It became 0. Percentage of total, then
I think that's it.
okay. Let me. Smriti, do you have any idea here?
No, Satya.
Okay, fine. So basically, by this table calculation will not give you the profit percentage,
Okay.
because yeah, this total percentage, it is what it does. I mean, this table calculation, Table calculation is basically in a particular table, whatever table calculation you apply, it gets applied over that value, right? Now, over here, if I say, it was my profit, right? And you wanted to convert this into percentage. So this percentage will not be a profit percentage. What it will show that in this particular cell, whatever value we had earlier, what that value is percentage of this total. In other words, let me tell you. Let me open Excel. I'll tell you. Maybe I'm not able to explain. So let's say my items are, yeah, items. Let's say here it is 20, 35, 56, or 76. So what is total? Total is 196. So this profit percentage, what we are doing using this table calculation, this will show me the percentage of this, which is, right, it is 10% of my total values. So okay, now if you see, it will become 100. That's fine. It is 100. Sum as 100. This is showing these values. Like my first item is of 10% of the total. Second item is 17% of the total. Third item is 33% of total. And the last item is 38% of the total. This is not my profit percentage. This is telling me that this value is 10% of my total. That is exactly what this was doing, percentage of total. Okay. In order to calculate profit percentage, we need to create a calculated field, because mathematically, if you have profit and if you have sales, you need to calculate the profit percentage out of these two, right? And what could be the formula for that? Mathematically, what would be the formula for profit if you have profit percentage, if you have profit and sales?
Profit and sales.
Mhm.
Profit into 100 divided by sales.
Yeah, exactly. So that unit remain. So what we will do here, we'll simply apply that formula in order to calculate profit percentage. Now there would be two things. I'll go one by one. First of all, I'll go ahead and create, let's say, calculated field. We'll say profit percentage, and here we'll define our formula. So just see what can happen. There are two scenarios. First of all, what I will do, I'll just simply write profit into 100 and divided by sales. Okay, I can write this formula also, and what it will do, on each row level it will give me the profit percentage. Let me apply it and we'll come back. I'll drag this field here, sorry, here, and this profit percentage. So over here, if you see, it's a percentage field, right? I'll convert this into percentage format and represent this in form of percentage. Okay, two decimals, one. Let me this two decimals only. Just one correction. I'll remove that 100 because I have done the formatting as percentage. Okay, profit divided by sales. It's giving me this number. Now tell me, is it correct or is it wrong? If you see, this is my profit out of this much sales, is it possible to have a profit percentage like this?
No, looks wrong.
No, right? So this
No.
cannot be correct. So in that case, because profit percentage or whenever you use these fields which are supposed to be aggregated, you always need to use a aggregation formula with them. So in our case, we simply used profit divided by percentage. So generally what it is doing, why it is showing a wrong number here? Because on each row it is calculating, it is dividing profit and sales, and over here it is adding that. Are you getting my point?
Please, can you repeat that?
Yeah, what I'm saying is on each row level, because I have put a calculation as divide my profit by sales. So for each row, it divides profit by sales, and whatever number we get over here in this table, because it is sum, right? It adds those values, and that's the reason it shows the wrong number. Okay, these are the calculations which you need to understand well. I'll show you that what I'm talking about. If I click here, view data, so you'll see the profit percentage values over here will be kind of good. See the profit percentage, right? This is my sales. If this is my profit, this is sales, this is my profit percentage. If you go for some better number, over here you can see 9.63 was the profit, this was the total sales, and this is my profit percentage, which looks correct, isn't it?
Yeah, this looks correct.
If you see here, 7.5 out of 21.44, which is 35%. Correct. So this looks correct. But in our calculation, what is happening? If I do the sum of this, it is showing me that total. Let me export this data and show that calculation, because it might be a little confusing at this moment. But exactly this is what is happening, and it happens most of the time if you don't know the proper calculation. So details. Okay, I'll try to replicate my scenario. I have taken profit, taken sales, and profit percentage. We'll take category, with that we will take subcategories too. Right, and cancel this view. So total for office supplies is coming as 1663. For office supplies, let me add totals. So this is for furniture. In our case, see 164.51, right? So it's coming as 16,451, just the decimal places which are not correct here. But yes, the total is coming like this. Similarly for office supplies, 1663, that is this. And for technology, it is 576.77, right? Now, by total wise, it is correct, but the decimal places and all, which is not correct actually. So, in order to do this calculation right, first of all, because it is aggregation, what we recommend that use a aggregation function here also. And what is that? Like sum of profit should be divided by sum of sales, because one product can be repeated multiple times. So that is the first thing what we do. Remove, and we'll drag the profit percentage again. Okay. Now what do you say? Now you're getting,
Yeah, now it looks correct actually.
right? Because it is not the sum. What we did, aggregate function here. Aggregate, and then I converted that into percentage. Earlier it was kind of doing a default sum. So there are two things. First of all, you need to use aggregation function here, sum, and second thing, you need to have aggregation over this filter percentage also, right? Then only you will get the correct numbers. Now it's up to you whether what color formatting you want to use and all. So you can just select control and drag the same field. It will show you different records according to whether it is negative, positive, or what type of volume it has. I'll go ahead and change this scale. Maybe I'll keep it as starting from red to green. And maybe I can just show stepped colors. Oh, that's not good. Stepped color as, let's say, 10 or even more. Yeah. Not visible properly. The first row is not at all visible. But yes, by going through these formatting options, you can update it. But my question is back on the calculation side. Are we comfortable with it? Or do we have still any question here? Some profit and this aggregation here, what we did.
So when we were doing profit by sales only, then it was again applying the sum function over it. But when we did sum of profit by sum of sales, then it is not applying the sum function again.
No,
Is
no,
that
see, what happens if you have already applied sum over here, right?
yeah.
While using the sum here, it was giving some error. Let me remove it and drag it again. If I drag it again onto this site, it will automatically be aggregated. It won't allow you to take sum, right? Because you are already doing the sum on granular level where actually it is required. So doing a sum at two places on one measure, that is what is it is not allowing. But if I remove the sum from this place, this level, you will be able to do the sum. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll just create a replica of this field and remove the sum from there. So I'll just go ahead and create duplicate. It's a copy. I'll put it here. Sorry, I'll remove it once again and first of all change this and this. Then I will drag this. So because there is no aggregation so far, right, onto this particular field, there is no other
Yes.
aggregation except division. So what I'm going to do is as soon as I'll drag it here, it will by default take the sum.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a kind of the problem. I'm over here you can see the numbers. These numbers are not at all matching, not even in the range. So that's why the calculation is not good. Always whenever you want to calculate profit percentage or some percentage, like let's say sample or population percentage, in that case you need to follow this route only. You can just do whatever aggregation you want, count, discount, discrete count, average, apply it on the lower level, and then bring that thing to here. Then it will show the correct numbers. Fine. Any questions here?
No. Good.
Okay. Now let me remove profit percentage. I'll put profit onto this. Okay. Now I'll just go ahead and copy this particular sheet, create a duplicate sheet. And in this duplicate sheet, I'll just remove maybe sales. Oh, no, let me remove first of all quantity, and then we'll remove profit percentage and convert the same chart into bars. Okay, so over here I can see profit sales on x-axis, and then on top we have furniture, office supplies, and technology, their number. We'll change this view a little bit. No, not that. Maybe what we can do is at the place of category and subcategories, I will take it on. No, it will be better to keep them into columns. I'll drag my measures into rows. So profit, fair enough, and sales. Okay. Do you know what is dual axis chart?
No.
Okay. Bio, do you have any idea about it? What is dual axis chart?
No is no.
Okay. Okay. So the scenario is like, let's say you have more than one measure, and what you need to do is you need to show, uh, let's say your profit or sales together in one chart, right? So there is a way like you can show two bar charts as we were doing earlier. For example, sales and profit for particular maybe category, like this. You can show that. But in case there is a requirement that profit and sales cannot be shown like this, right? See, if you show this chart to anyone, it gives an assumption that you are trying to compare this profit and sales bars, right? It might give that assumption. Or, or in other words, if I say, let me remove this profit from here, and if I drag my field called ahead sales and profit percentage, and then okay, I'm not able to replicate that area. Okay, let me I'll just go back to Excel and then tell you one scenario. Let's say I have these products and I have sales and I have profit percentage. So over here, let's say product 1, my sales sum number, and profit percentage, let's say 50%, 45%, or similar numbers. And what I would say, let's say this is my percentage field. Okay, let's say this is my data, and very frequently we'll come across this situation. And over here, if I go ahead and plot some chart, insert, let's say this one. Okay, in this particular chart, if you see, I have one orange bar of profit and then one blue bar of sales. If I ask you one simple question, what is wrong with this chart? Can you explain? Anyone? By wordsmithing. What's wrong with this chart? And the same thing will happen in Tableau also, like you will have these two type of measures. You can easily create this.
The sales is more as compared to profit, so we are not. It looks like we're trying to compare, but this visualization doesn't go by that way.
I'm not talking about the visual aspect of it. I'm talking about, is it correct? Visual, I mean, visual can be good, better, bad, whatever. But is it correct? Is this comparison correct? We are comparing profit percentage and sales.
Percentage.
Without having sales and profit both, I mean, keeping the profit percentage only is not making much sense, and it is not giving a clear picture.
Mhm.
Is the percentage profit. Okay.
Yep.
The whole percentage uh, profit is the same thing for all products.
By I didn't get.
I said the percentage profit is showing the same thing for all products. The profit percentage is showing the same thing for all products.
Mhm. No, but how that affects the visualization? I mean, whatever number I have, we have just represented, right? It is not same here. The numbers will be, of course, different for each bar, what we get. And this question is generally asked in interviews also, like why we can't compare in such chart. I'm talking about specifically visualization, right? Not the visual appearance, but yes, the way we have represented it. Okay, let me tell you. Our sales will always be either in dollars or in any currency, right? It will not be in kind of percentage sign. It's not the sales percentage, it is dollars or any currency. So the scale, what we will plot here is going up to 800, right? The measurement of these both measures is different. Sales will always be measured in dollars or any currency, but percentage cannot be measured in dollars or anything, right? It will be out of 100 only. Like out of 100, it's 45 percentage. It's 23%. It cannot go, I mean, in rare scenarios, it can go more than 100 also. But the measurement will not be in dollars for percentage. And that's the reason if you try to compare these two measures here, one is profit percentage and another is sales, will always be wrong. So you're getting this difference, right?
Yeah, Satya.
Right. Bio, do you have any question on this?
No, I'm okay.
Like right, because we cannot compare these two things. So in such scenario where two measures cannot be compared, right? And we need to show both of them in one visualization. We go for the dual axis chart. That's the requirement. Like two measures which cannot be compared together and we need to represent them into one visualization, we need to go for dual axis chart. Like both of the measures will have a different axis so that they can be measured on different scales. Now the same thing will happen here. For example, I'll just remove this. I mean, Tableau is already doing that. The profit and its sales, we can put it onto one axis and kind of go with it. It's a profit, product name, sorry, category or subcategory. And then we can take profit, we can take sales, and we can create this dual axis chart wherein out of this scale, which is starting from 0 to 600k, we can compare both profit as well as sales. My profit is around 83,000 and my sales is 334,000. But as soon as we put profit percentage here, my visualization will not work properly or it will not give the clear picture. For example, if I put it like this, though I've just added my profit percentage here, but what it shows, this is not the correct way of representing profit percentage. So what we will do, we'll go ahead and put this profit percentage into some other axis. And how can we do that? Let me tell you, we'll just remove maybe profits here and we'll put it this side. Okay. Actually, earlier it was getting created automatically. So I have sales, I have profit percentage, and you can see this scale first of all. Over here, it is starting from 0 and going up to 6,000K. And this one is starting from 0 and going up to 0.4, which means 4%. Yeah, 40%, sorry. Up to 40%. Now, we can use this visualization also in dashboards, but again, it's not real estate perspective, it is good, I mean, because it is occupying a lot of space on the page. And another thing, it's representing the similar bar. So if I look at this bar or this bar, I would say these are somewhere close, but that's wrong, right? We cannot compare these things by looking at the size of bar. So what we will do, first of all, I can, right click here, click on dual axis, will create another chart. And now you can see here we have two different axes. One is related to profit percentage and one is related to sales. And then I can select any particular axis, will come here and will change the visualization by selecting the drop down. For profit, I'll select the profit scale and come here and will select some other visualization, whichever I want. And by doing so, I can see my profit and sales, they are independent of each other, right? The size of bar in sales will not decide the size of scale for profit percentage. Both are independent separately. But one thing is common, that on the x-axis, I have my subcategories, which means for a particular subcategory called phones, I would know what is my sales and what is my profit percentage by clicking or putting my mouse over here. It's 13%, right? Is it clear?
Yes, that's clear.
Right. Now, for better representation, again, you can do a lot of formatting things and maybe show it on entire view. For profit, you can go ahead and maybe drag the profit percentage on your size, similar kind of view. All those things can be done as you want. And right now you might be getting confused with this number because it doesn't give the clear percentage. So you can just click over here, go to format, show it in form of percentage, and it will be all right. So this is the view it will create for you, where you can see negative as well as positive profit. And the width of trend line is also controlled by profit percentage here. Okay, there are some other different ways of showing two measures in one chart. It is very good if they are of same scale. Now I'll just go ahead and create a pie chart. Creating pie chart is very easy. Like subcategory, and I'll take my sales, put it here, click here. It will create a pie chart for you. We just need to scale it properly. Okay. You can put labels and all. If you wish, you can put the name of your category also, right? So whichever label you want, you can create. But over here, my intention was to show a dual axis chart using for pie chart. Do you know what we will call to that? Okay. Basically, I'm confusing you guys. I want to create a dual axis chart using pie chart, and that is actually known as the donut chart. Okay, so donut chart is the chart which I'm going to create, and the best way would be creating a donut chart would like you need to take a calculated field. What I will do, I'll just take one calculated field and we'll put it one over here. Nothing else, just one. I will say dummy field, your test field, whatever you want, you can say. Apply. And in this scenario, let me just clean this up first of all. We'll drag my profit at one go, and another I will drag dummy. We'll go ahead and just a minute. Okay. I'll just convert both into pi. So far, is it clear what I have done? I've just converted both into pie chart from here,
Yeah.
right? I've taken sum of profit and sum of my dummy number, which I just taken as one. We can we can just convert this into count because it is one only, so won't make any change. And this time you can see I have almost similar shape of these pie charts. Now what I will do for this particular sum profit, I'll go ahead and as soon as I clicked here, you can see like this got expanded for sum profit. Over here, I can put some other fields whichever I want. For example, maybe color, size, labels, whichever we want, we can put it here. So, or maybe labels, no, that won't work, that's not better. Okay, or slice, no, no, no. I simply want to, I want to show the slices over here so that I would know this is my pie chart. Okay, basically this is the way I wanted it to be shown. Okay, I'll drag my dummy field also. No, it's not coming to that. Okay, okay. Let me drag profit. And region. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, I was doing something wrong because of which it was not coming correctly. So what you need to do is, first of all, you can create a particular pie chart, whichever you want. So maybe by taking regions or the profit or sales, whichever you want, you can create a pie chart first of all, right? You can give a proper shape by increasing the size. Okay, I'll just increase this area also so that it will look proper. Okay, this is the first step. Fine. For a particular pie chart, I have got in the proper shape right now. Now, the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a base axis for this because right now you don't see anything on rows and columns. So I need to create a base axis for it. And what I will do in order to create that base axis, I'll just drag my dummy field over here. Fine. You don't see a proper chart, pie chart here because my dummy field is in some format as or basically some aggregation. There was a reason like I took one so that I can take either average or count anytime. So as soon as you will take a proper count, you will get the same pie chart in a better format as you had in the earlier case. So which means I have one base axis with my pie chart. In order to create dual axis, I would need two axes. Right now you can see there is only one axis here. I don't have the other axis. So what I would do, I'll just go ahead and create one more axis. And how can I do that? I'll just drag the same dummy field once again. As soon as I do that, it automatically came into some field, some type of thing, aggregation. I'll go ahead and change it into again distant count or average, and it will get converted into two axes. Now I'll convert this into dual axis. Again, there is the same problem. I see only one chart right now. But the good thing is I have two axes here. So in order to make this chart as donut chart, what I need to do is the axis which is on top, I need to remove the formatting and do some kind of such formatting so that it will give a hollow appearance. And for that, I'll just click it again. This particular thing is expanded. If I select this, you can see like this is got expanded. If I select this axis, this thing is getting expanded. What I'll do, I'll just remove everything from here. Now it's all blank. This axis is all blank. But if I click here, it will definitely have some color because it has region, sum, sales, everything on top of it. I'll go back here, this axis once again, and click on size, and I might reduce the size. Okay, so as soon as you reduce the size, your shape will be like this here. In center, you will get the gray color by default, which is because of my axis 1. In order to show a hollow appearance or a donut shape, what I would do, I'll just keep selecting this particular axis, I'll go ahead and change the color of this particular chart. Either I can make it 100% transparent or will give a white color. That will automatically change the color of this particular axis, and it will give us a donut look and feel. We can hide our axes, and this is how it will appear on the chart. Now again, going back to the same thing, you can show your labels or whatever numbers you want to show. It's a dual axis chart, but using pie chart, we have created a chart using dual axis. Right? Any doubt in order to create this? We can repeat these steps. I know in starting it was confusing. So we can repeat these steps if you want. Smriti, Bio.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand the reason why we have taken the count of the dummy field and why we have reduced the size.
Okay.
Now,
See, basically what happens if I take sum, because this is access, right? And let me change this to sum. What happens on this particular axis? Let me show header. You see there is scale starting from 0 to 8,000. Now what happens, because under dummy field we had 1, right? If we do the sum, it will keep adding those numbers. And that's the reason, as soon as I put the color on this particular pill, right? For each category, there would be a different total, right? For East, you can say in dummy you are getting 5,000. For West, you are getting 6,000. For
yes.
Central, you are getting 4. That's why these all circles you are looking, I mean, getting a different circle for each thing. It's not a pie chart anymore, right? And this field I created dummy because it is not. This is not. This is This is not the field what we had in the data. We created this to support our accesses, right? Now, as soon as either we take the average, because average of ones will be one only, or you can take the count because the distinct count of one will always be one, right? So either of both approaches we can go with, and it will create pie chart for you, because it will give us synchronous, access. And this field is not affecting our data, so we can, apply either average or count anything what we want. My main value or main difference will be based out of these fields like sum and region, because these are the fields which are coming from my data. So whatever value is there in these data, that will be kind of, making a difference if I change any of these. That is what I'm not doing here. All right. And another thing why we kind of reduce the shape, because we can, control this the way you want. It is just for the visualization. As you will change the shape of your central circle, the shape of rest of the things will change. It is nothing, it is just overlapping on axis 1. Right now, correct. So you can
Yeah.
use this in order to create some other visualizations also, not only donut. You can see, right, if these things you can use for in order to show the shape of moon also for a different visualizations. Okay, but in the current scenario, it is not right. Why? Because for one axis I have taken average and one I have taken distinct count. That's why you are not getting the actual pie shape. Either you need to take average in both, then you will get exactly the shape what we are looking for. Okay, or you take the distinct count. Okay, even though right now it is not coming correct. What could be the issue? I'll show you the headers.
Because the sum of sales in different regions are different, and we have selected the size for the sum of sales. So it is sometimes it is thick, sometimes it is thin.
No, no. My question was the shape of this donut. This side you see it is width is more, height or width, whatever you call it, it's more. On this side it is less. At both places I have average, but still it's different.
Yeah, that's because in east region the sum of sales is more, and we have kept sum of sales size as well. So
Yeah, the number of records are more in this side. Okay,
yeah,
because but average of ones should be average. Okay, I kind of not completely satisfied with that answer. Let me try this. There is one more option here called Synchronize Accesses. Okay, what it does, it will synchronize these both scales here. In current situation, it seems correct to me, but I'll click again on here. Uh, because that, if this calculation is same, right, my both of the accesses should come same.
okay,
Right? Because average of ones will be one only, right? You can
yeah.
count 10 times, 1,000 times, as many times. It will be one only. So that's why whenever you see such discrepancy, you need to use this synchronize access option, and it will kind of correct or sync both the accesses properly.
So for a donut chart, always we need to create this calculated dummy field, two dummy fields.
I mean, if you don't have any such field in your data, then definitely you need to. Right, because you need to take some data here which is not related to the attributes what you're fetching over here. If anything
Yeah,
is related to this, you will not get the correct donut chart.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Then it will
Right?
vary somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly. It will not be in sync and it will vary.
Hmm. And, under what business scenario this kind of charts are expected? Donut charts.
So, see, it's as simple as pie chart. It is just the better look and feel or looks beautiful than pie chart. That is what I would say, right? But yes, when you say business case, so there would be same business case as pie chart, wherever you want to show the maybe distribution, not exactly the distribution I would say, but wherever you want to show the sharing or do the segmentation, like these many people are in this particular part and these many people are in this particular part. So if you need to show that kind of segregation, then you use pie chart, right? So there would be same business case as donut, but yes, donut gives you flexibility. Let me tell you why. Because right now we are just showing these numbers. There is one more thing what you can do. Under this particular circle, I don't have anything right now. But what you can do is, you can show further, I have taken sales only, right? Sales and regions. You can come here, you can maybe, if you want, you can show the profit labels. You can show some other things also, for example, quantity, right? So it will appear in the center. Getting my point? You can show more information over here on top of it. So these are the different use cases of donut. Then there is another custom chart which is generally known as candle chart. So we can create candle chart using our two similar measures. When I say similar measures, basically maybe profit and sales. Okay, let me take subcategory. Okay, over here, if you see, my profit and sales both are in dollars, so we can compare, we can use side by side. What I would do in this scenario, first of all, I will try to put one on a different axis as we had earlier. Let me okay, like this only, my sales and profit. But this time what I'm going to do is, I'll convert this sales into maybe circles or some other shape which you want. So when I say shape, you can use any of these, right? Maybe you can use this or any other shape, whichever you want, or you can add your own shape, right? So this is the possibility. Now I've converted one into circles and one into bar charts. I'll go ahead and create it as dual axis. Okay, I need to repeat that step again. I need to repeat that axis and we'll just go ahead and convert my profit into bars and sales into circles. So that will be like this. And over here, if you see, my profit is of until 3000K, whereas my sales is going up to 6000K, right? So in this scenario, what is happening? Both the measures have different axes, and this won't give a clear picture. Why? If you click here your mouse, it is 80,000, so yeah, 80,000, 83,000, whereas this one is 300 and 34,000. Is it looking good? I mean, it doesn't look correct to me. This bar shows
Yeah.
83,000 and this point is showing 334,000. Doesn't look correct because this thing is working because of this axis and this bar is working as per this axis. Both axes are not in sync. So we need to use the same synchronize option here, and then it will show you almost clear picture. When I say clear picture, you can see here, now your profit is 83,000 here, and it can be 334,000 up to here. 83,000 and 334,000, right? So Going back here, you can change it into circle, you can change it into whatever you want. But yeah, sorry, I mean, this is not going to be the candle chart which I was talking about. I'll create another chart in order to show the candle one. I'll just keep it as this. I'll extend it entire view. And over here, I mean, right now both have the different representation. You can have both into bars. And what I would do, I'll just put profit later after sales. Because profit bars were smaller, so whatever pill will be on the right side, that will be on top. Over here, once it is selected, you can go here and change the shape or size of this. So you can change the visualization accordingly. Right? And over here, if it is on top, you can create anything else whichever you want. Or maybe you can select the area. It will look like this. Okay, any questions here? I'm just taking you through, different visualizations which are possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's move to the candle chart, which actually I wanted to create, but I couldn't do that. So let's say bar slash tool. Okay. For candle chart, basically you need to take the same measure twice. I'll take profit. I'll put the profit again. Fine. And we can take anything here, for example, subcategories or whatever you want. Let me take subcategories. I have both the measures, I mean same measures at both places, both axes, and I have put into a dual axis chart. And this time I'll go ahead and convert one of them into bars and we'll keep one into a specific shape. So a specific shape, I can, right now it is circle. You can take anything else, whichever you want, maybe shapes. Go here and take, okay. You can play with the, shape and size, synchronize your axis. It'll appear like this. And then you can maybe change the color of your different axes. So for example, if you would like, you can take some maybe orange or red and show these numbers. Take 6, and for this alignment I'll go here maybe like this. For circles, I kind of don't want to show labels, so I'll uncheck this. Okay. If color scheme is not good, you can take some other color as per your choice. Sorry. We'll take this as an orange and we'll take this one as right? So you can create candle charts. It's nothing but the dual axis chart of bar as well as combination of some shapes, right? Any questions here?
So, when do we use all these charts?
Okay, so any scenario where you need to represent two measures in one chart, you need to use the dual axis chart,
Okay.
right? As we talked about sales and profit, you are supposed to show sales and profit in one particular chart. So all those scenarios wherein you are comparing or you are trying to represent two measures in one chart, you need to use dual axis chart, right? And yeah, whatever I covered so far, Vaibhav, so this chart, this chart, or this chart, all of them are dual axis chart. It is just the representation what Tableau offers that you can represent or beautify your charts the way you want.
So, presenting any of these dual axis charts to the product owner depends on the developer discretion, right?
See, it depends on the project to project. On few cases, see, developer, I think product owner should be open to see the suggestions from developer, right? Ultimately, it is product owner's responsibility, or I would say, product owner's decision that what they want for the product. But again, they should remain open for the developer's suggestion. So, I mean, even I have been doing it. If business owner or product owner has asked us something to be done like this, I can come up with some prototypes, right? I can suggest them that this is the way it looks better than what was required. And if product owner is open, they can definitely accept or provide some more inputs to that. So I think developers should not be only focused to what product owner is saying, but yes, that's the end goal. But with that, developers should provide their suggestions.
Okay. All right.
So, in case of this candle chart, we are plotting it. Um, uh, two times the same measures, right? Profit both.
Right.
Then only the length and the position of the, length of the bar and the position of the circle is syncing and it is matching properly.
Exactly.
So, if we take sum of sales and profit, I think there can be discontinuity between the line, the bar graph and the circle.
Exactly. That is what happened here, right? Earlier I took that
Yes.
only. Sales
Yes.
and profit.
So when we want to plot a candle chart, it's like we are plotting a dual chart, but we are presenting only one measure, isn't it?
Exactly. Only one measure. Yeah. But here, see, here again you will have some options. If you click on any axis here, you will have reference lines.
Okay.
Okay. If you go here, I was using profit, right? You can
Yes.
use some other fields also. How you can take some other fields? You need to drag that first on the detail. I'll do that. Let's say sales. I'll drag it to bars. Now on details I have put it, sum of sales. It is not appearing here as of now. I'll go here, add reference line, and in the drop down you can see that.
Yes.
Now I can use it, average or total, whichever I want to show. I'll show average right now. Computation, I don't want to show. Tooltip, I don't want to show. A simple line, and maybe I can do a color combination kind of thing. So let's go with gray format. Fill below. Okay. So over here, if you see this line basically, okay, this line is related to your sales, though it is your profit. The new line which got added here is of your sales. I mean, it is not appearing here. Why? Because I selected no computation. I'll just show it. Label, show computation. Now you can see. Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I did show computation, it is showing average sales. Now, right now, if you see, it is coming as a single line on top of all my profits, which means because I have selected line here, it is showing on top of the complete data. I have flexibility. I can show it as band. There's no change. It's still the same values, nothing, no change. And it's showing my maximum right now, but I can change it to average. Okay, it's just showing a band now. If I go like this, it will show the distribution, all the values which are between 80 to 60, which you can change anytime, whichever you want, 80 to 60, 80 to 90. So you can change your band width using these options. And still in like option number one, line, band, and width, sorry, distribution, it is showing the sales for the complete data what I have in my visualization. Fine. You have option to show this sales on each level, like for accessories separate sales, for appliances separate sales, for arts separate sales. In order to do that, you just need to select box plot, and it is going to say show sales for that particular bar. So over here you can see there is a line which says
Yeah.
334. For this it shows 215. For this it shows 406. So you can represent multiple measures in candle chart also.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So all these options, what you are showing, we need to explore doing it in trial, right?
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. So you can, I mean, all of these options, what I'm covering here, it will be available in your copy of Tableau as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now let me show you one more chart. Basically, we have used so far. Okay, let me go to area chart. So generally, what happens if I put columns or maybe profit here? So profit. It shows me this the simple bars, right? But there could be a possibility of creating a heat map, right? Heat map basically shows the density or intensity of data volume in a particular segment. Okay, how can you show that? You can directly go to show me and click on this segment, which is heat map. Now, over here you will see the color combination is as per the size also. The more dense color you have, the size of that segment is big, which means copier will have maximum profit because I have plotted profit here, and the color is also quite dense here. Over here, this side, you have three negative numbers, and the negative numbers, I don't think they are shown here. But as you go towards this corner, the shape, size, and color, everything is changing, right? So this is very simple. I mean, we call it heat map, and you can show more and more information over here as you want. Quantity, you just need to drag whatever you want to show here. Copier was already there. Okay, fine. Segment. As soon as I put segment, I think it will change. Yeah. Because what will happen, segment and subcategory combinations will appear in the picture. So remove it, it's fine. Now if you, let's say if you want to change the color, maybe basic some segment or maybe subcategory, you can put that here. Now colors will look like this. It is not by the profit intensity, but by the subcategory. But still, the size has been decided keeping profit intensity or volume in mind. Okay?
Yeah. What is the difference when we drag and drop some dimension or measure to row or column or here? I mean, both way we are getting a plot.
You're talking specifically in heat map, right?
Not in Heatmap, in even on pie chart as well.
Okay.
Sometimes we can get it report or chart when we drag something to column and rows, right? So
Right.
there will be comparison. And sometimes we are dragging it just to this marks plane, and there also we are getting a visualization. Is there
Okay.
any difference?
Yeah, see what happens. First of all, you need to understand these marks properly. So what happens? Anything which you are going to put it on color, right? It will not create any new access, but it will segregate or put all these color categories onto the existing measures. Measures, when I say the things which are already there on your row and columns. Okay, it will not create any new chart, it will just put an impact over the existing fields. Size is related to measures and yeah, measures basically. So depending on the value which you have, you can increase, decrease the size. Label is going to show just the name on top of your chart, what you are using. It will not create any new chart. Details is again not going to do anything, but you can bring as more information on details you can utilize in order to show more information in terms of tooltip or label or like reference lines. These things are not going to create any new chart. These five, right? These shapes are going to show your measure the way you want. So basically, if I'm talking about that, you already have a measure, you can create your chart or visualization, whatever you want, using your measures. But how those pointers will be represented, that you can decide using these shapes. Right now, whatever measures and dimensions I have taken, I can decide a particular chart using these here, that what chart I want to show. And the same thing can be done using show me option, right? There is only one difference between show me and these things. Like show me can tell you that which chart is suitable for you for a particular measure and dimension as soon as you select them here, right? But this drop down will only be applied to the measure and dimension which are already present here in either column or rows. You cannot use these things until you drag something on rows and columns. Whereas these options you can use even if your dimensions and measures are present only here, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
But if we go to the heat map in sheet 9, then we don't have anything in our rows and columns. But
right.
still, we have a visualization here.
Correct, correct. So
So
that's what
that
I'm saying.
can only be achieved through that show me, or we can directly drag and drop something to color. Like subcategory, we can drag to color, and
Uh,
some,
in, in order to create heat map, right?
yeah,
No, I
without
mean, you
using
can,
the show me.
without using the show me, you can create from here, this option, right?
Okay.
From here you can create. Let me try to do that. I will not use show me. I'll just drag my, let's say, segment. and I will drag profit here. Okay, this is the case right now. I'll go ahead and click on shapes. I'll go here and select square first of all. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this what it is doing, it is just between accesses, it is converting those symbols as square, nothing else. But there is one more option called polygon. No, it's also not making any change. Square, area. No, I don't think it is possible here. Though you should be able to create it. Text, no.
So there will be some scenarios where we need to use that show me as well. Right?
Yeah, definitely. See, show me is kind of beginning. You need
Yeah,
to
it's
use
kind of a
show me to
ready-made thing,
start.
and here it is kind of customized thing in
Fine.
Maps.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but it should be, I mean, I should be able to create this thing using this. Okay. Let's do that. I'll give one more try. Okay. So over here, let me drag segment. I'll drag profit. These two things. We'll change it to maybe square. Fine. And then let me put segment onto color. Sum of profit into size. Yes. Okay. We reached that location. Reached,
Yeah.
some point. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible from here completely
Yeah.
without using show me.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you can change the colors as you want. Maybe subcategories, I'll put it here. Yes, exactly the same, I think. Right? So it's possible. It's possible you can create without showing. Okay, so so far everything is clear, right? Or any doubt, any questions?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, what's the difference between a tree map and a heat map?
Tree map and heat map. I would say these are same. See why we call it heat map. The only reason because the color of these numbers goes by the volume or the volume of the measure. That is why we call it heat map because as more the value you will have more dense color. That's why we call it heat map. And tree map is only because it shows some kind of hierarchy. In the current scenario, both are same. There is no difference as such. You can create heat map in a table, cross table also. When I say cross table, basically you can drag, let's say, this profit, and I'll put the profit on color also. Sorry, this one. So this also you can say it's a heat map only because basis the color volume, basis the volume of the value, I'm changing the color. This is also a heat map. Right? So there is a logic behind calling it heat map or tree map. We cannot call this as a tree map. It is a heat map right now, cross table and heat map. But if you go by this one, this is heat map as well as your tree map. Why tree map? Because you have different orders here. On top of, the first box is the maximum value. As you go down, it has the lowest value. So that's why it is a tree or kind of hierarchy. But it is heat map also because it shows the color basis the volume of your measure. Is it clear?
Yes.
There could be multiple names of a particular chart. For example, this is nothing but dual axis chart and bar charts. But we are calling it as candle because it appearance is like that. Over here, it's an area chart and bar chart both. We are calling it kind of dual axis chart to show the comparison. So it's like that. The way, basically the characteristics of a particular chart, we can call it with different names. Okay, that gives me another idea of a chart. I'll just remove it right now. Everybody must have heard about cloud, word cloud, right?
No.
I mean
So
the storage cloud. Or,
no, not the storage cloud, word cloud I'm talking about. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
right, in many websites you might have seen like they
yeah.
show
They
some keywords with
some
different
random,
shapes.
yeah, symbol keywords with circles, small, big, different size circles.
Exactly, small big. That is what I'm talking about. So that is what we are going to create using Tableau. Do you have any idea, like, is it possible in Tableau or how can we create it?
Now actually in mobile app store there are so many applications are available, which is by default creating that. If you supply
Okay.
some values, it will create. People are using it in social media and for fun, like for tagging their friends and all. They'll supply those values and that mobile app is converting that to a word cloud.
Okay, fine. We'll just create the same thing here in Tableau. And what I'm going to do for that, uh, okay, out of my dimensions, let's say category is there, city is there. Maybe I want to know which city is generating more profit for this business. Okay, we'll try to figure out which city is or who are the top cities who are producing more revenue or more profit for this particular business. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and drag this city on text. What is this? I just got all the city names here,
Yes.
right? Now, the next thing, because I know size is being controlled by a particular measure, and I want to show the intensity of profit in these cities. So what I'll do, I'll drag my profit measure and put it onto size, right? So it gave me the same kind of heat map here or tree map here. This is not I want. I'll just go ahead onto
Can we
this
put
particular.
that city into circles or sizes as well, along with text?
So what do you want me to do?
The city onto size as well, so that not size, shapes, where we'll select city names instead of square or rectangles, it will be like circles. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but this thing is, I mean, we call it bubble chart actually. This is here, right? This one, bubble chart.
Yeah.
This is another type of chart, and this is also kind of used a lot. What we can do here further, we can put the color on particular city, so you can
Yeah.
see different cities, and the volume shows which city has the maximum profit, right? So it's catering to the same use case, but it is not the word cloud, right? It is solving the same purpose. For the same problem statement, we can use this also.
Yeah.
We can drag maybe profit on labels. We can drag sales on labels, so it will show all these values. And it is telling me that Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, and New York City, Detroit, these are the main cities wherein I have the maximum profit, right?
So
I
this
can click.
level and detail, both of them are solving kind of same problem for us. In details also we'll get this kind of details. Right?
Which details you're talking about? This one?
What if instead of pulling the cells into level, if we pull that onto details, then
No, it will not solve that purpose. See, sales is gone, right?
okay,
Whatever you want to show here on the particular chart, you need to put that on level.
okay, got it. Okay,
Okay?
detail means when we hover, then it is showing it, but
No,
not
no, no, no.
not always.
No, it is not that. Detail, you can use anything for, some automation or some other purpose. Over here right now, if you see, on tooltip, I can see sales, right? It is
Yeah.
because this is the tooltip and I have sales here.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if I remove sales from here, you won't be able to see sales on tooltip.
Okay. Okay.
Right? But there are few things which you can put on details and then further you will be able to use it into tooltip or into the reference lines, right? So for
Okay.
those purpose, you can drag things onto details.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. So this was the bubble chart. I'll save it as bubble. We'll go ahead and create word cloud once again. Same strategy, what we were talking about. We'll take city and this time earlier we put profit on size, same thing. This was the stage, right? After this, I'm going to change this automatic to text. Okay, drop down, I'm going to select text, and as soon as I do that, I can see all the cities here. However, some of the cities have bigger font, like New York, Seattle, Los Angeles, and okay, so these are those cities only which we had in this particular bubble chart. New York, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles. The same kind of cities are also available here with bigger font. But yes, I would agree that this doesn't look good because we have huge number of cities here. So either we apply some top or maybe we can apply the same thing on different field, right? Do you agree with me?
Yeah. Can we apply some filter on it on region? Let's say only Eastern or some region.
So let's go region, use all, apply, and we'll go with show filters. And I would say single value dropdown or single value
Yes.
list. So in one particular central region, you have Minneapolis, Lafayette, Detroit, and then east, you have New York City. In south, you have many like Atlanta, Henderson, Springfield, Columbus. Then in West region, you have Los Angeles, Seattle, San Francisco. But still, there are too much values, right, to show in a particular chart.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you can apply some other filters also. Single value, and over here, let's say, okay, let me bring this at top. For central region, for appliances, these are the different cities. Art, this, chairs, this, copiers, this, right? So you can create word cloud like this. For east region, with that you can put color also, the way we did it earlier, like for city on top of colors, It will show colors also. Once you put your mouse, it will tell you that what is the total profit. You can drag sales also on top of it. Sorry, what did it do? Sorry, I drag it on label. Not on label, I need to drag it on tooltip. So sales on tooltip, not labels. Like this. You need to select basically individual items and then assign the color. Doing that right now, but yes, that is how you can filter it out. Sorry, you can change the colors. Okay, so this is where you can create it, or otherwise, if you don't want to apply these many filters in order to show less values, you can go ahead and maybe drag some other field. What I would have done for the better visualization, at the place of city, I could have taken either states or I would have taken subcategory. Okay, so in different regions, you can see different subcategory has been sold a lot or is making good profits. This one is looking good, obviously. Okay. So, any questions on word cloud? Word cloud or any chart what we have created so far?
That's good.
Okay. The bubble chart. Then we have okay. Then heat map, candle, bar. Okay. So in tomorrow's session, we are going to cover rest of the other charts like box plot. Uh, this is bullet chart. It is nothing but the row bar charts only, but with some other reference lines. Then we have Gantt chart, histogram, scatter plot, area. The circles are common, map, and few other custom charts, right? So we'll continue our journey towards these custom charts tomorrow also. And with that, I mean, if time permits, I'll cover hierarchies. Okay. Did you go through the problem statement what I gave yesterday?
Yes, okay. I tried, but I could not find anything. Yeah. I mean, the parameters which you told, I could not set it.
Okay, because parameters I have not covered yet. So we'll
Yeah.
cover parameters, but yes, that's a kind of good topic to go through. But what I would expect, like today, you can go through the custom fields first of all. Custom fields basically the calculated fields. Today we just created one calculated field, but would expect like you can just explore more calculated fields and these functions which are available here. Okay,
Okay.
explore these functions so that you will have a better idea like when and where to use these calculated fields. Right.
Now,
Any question? Yeah, bio.
yeah, when playing with the calculated field, what should we put in mind? Because that's it. That's knowing the right function to use confuses me a lot.
Okay. See, basically, while calculated field, first of all, you need to know like why you need to create a calculated field, right? So over here, we had a requirement that I wanted to kind of create a profit percentage. So I needed that. Similarly, you can create some kind of, flag in the sense, maybe I would like to know whether in on product levels, I can go ahead and say, yeah, products. On a particular product, whether the profit is more than $5 or not. If it is not, right, we can provide some other flag. Or if it is less than $5, I would say low performing product, right? These type of categories we can create using calculated field, right? I'll show you that how you can do that. It's a if else condition. So I will say uh, it's a profit category. And over here I will say if sum of profit is greater than 5, then high else low and end. Right. Now the thing is, how I have written this condition, if you want to see the example, like what things you will keep in mind while writing this condition, you can go here and type or look for related things. So over here, logical and if. So you will see the example. It will give you example related to each condition or the function which you are going to use. Table calculation, previous, rank, whatever you select, it is going to show you those things here automatically with the example. So you will know like absolute of -7 is equal to 7, right? Cosine of 1 is equal to this value. Cosine of pi, that is this. Okay, so you need to go through these examples, what they have shown, and basis that you can create the logic whichever you want. Now, if as soon as I apply this, I'm going to get this new field here. And if I drag it against my product names, profit category, you will see it says whether it is high performing, low performing, less, basically it's less, right? I can show the profit also. Create a cross table.
Can I directly drag it onto the chart so that it will happen on?
Which one you want to drag? I mean,
The profit. Okay, that's fine.
right. So over here you can see
Yeah.
like profit, my profit category is high or less according to profit what we have here. If it is negative, it is less. If it is less than 5, then also you will find it as less. So let me just sort it out, this field. Sort manual. Sort by I want to do a sorting basis fields. So clear sort first of all, and field, this basis they have changed this sorting pop-up. Earlier you had, like basis which field you want to sort. You had that option also. Now it is giving to sort option for one particular field. I could have sort basis this profit percentage what we have. I don't know whether they changed it or what they did. Earlier it was coming as a complete pop-up. Analysis, sort. Okay. Yes, it's here now. So look at these things. Everywhere it is negative, and that's a reason it is less. So I would say like it is completely up to the requirement that what type of condition we need to create, what type of calculated field we need to create.
Okay.
Right. So in this scenario we created this, but before that we just created just we kept one into the calculated field. So it depends on the purpose that why we want to create a calculated field, and then accordingly we can use it.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, as we go, we'll be creating more calculated fields because parameters doesn't work without calculated field. So if you want to utilize parameters, you need to have calculated fields as must. Okay. So I think there would be a kind of session wherein we'll only talk about parameters.
No.
Because there are many use cases and confusion between parameter and filter. So we'll cover that. But today I would say like just go through all the charts what we have created, and in case of any question we can cover it tomorrow again. Okay.
All right. All right.
Yep. All right then. Thank you. Thanks
Thank you.
everyone.
All right.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.